Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, going to go over an email that was sent from a subscriber. This is from a guy, he is 26 years old, in the military, doing well for himself. And he shares his story about his experience with a woman that he liked and what he went through and all the typical BS that a lot of women have put guys through when the woman obviously knows the guy is more into them than they are into him. And also how when guys obviously act too nice and do all the things I tell you not to do. But ultimately you're going to see all the crap that he goes through. And I'm doing it as a lesson, guys, to show you obviously what not to do in certain situations. And certain behavior can lead to a girl jerking a guy around. However, you're going to see at the end, the guy obviously figures out where he's going wrong. And in the end, he has the last laugh by literally, well, you're going to see. I don't want to spoil it for you. So it starts off, he says, hello, SSM. I've become pretty addicted to listening to the stories from your subscribers and those you find on Reddit. I wanted to share my red pilling, the events that led up to it, and the aftermath. For reference, I'm a 26-year-old attractive guy raised by a single mom, and I do quite well for myself. I've been in the military for nearly 9 years, have a rental property, over 50 grand in the bank, and I'm in pretty good shape. Damn, dude. 26, your own rental property, and you got 50K in the bank? You're doing a damn good job, man. You are light years ahead of most guys your age. Shit, you're light years ahead of many guys probably in their 30s, in some case 40s. Awesome work. The story. He says, I moved to a major West Coast city at the end of 2019 and instantly met an attractive girl who we'll call Kate that worked at Starbucks. I noticed the pins they wore in their hats and I gave her one. It was not intended for her at the time, but the person who it was meant for was not working when I came in. Kate was taken aback, asking me a few days later why I gave it to her and stating that it was a kind gesture. Whenever I came in, if she saw me standing, waiting for my coffee too long, she'd go ahead and make it. About a week into this, Kate came from behind the counter with my coffee to talk a bit and had a coworker hand me her phone number as she had to quickly get back to work because of a group of people came pouring in. So she obviously liked you. She saw you waiting in line, would go make your coffee in advance. Come from behind the counter, come talk to you. I got a couple girls with a couple Dunkin' Donuts I go to. They see me walk in the door, boom, and they make the coffee right away. They probably like me. He says, given how easy it was for me to get it, I had the feeling she had a kid. Don't ask me how I knew, but I barely showed any interest in her outside of giving her that pin, so it felt forced. And he says, alarm bells were going off. Well, trust your instincts about the whole alarms going off and the kid. And also, trust the fact that you obviously weren't doing anything. If she was obviously good looking, she's probably used to guys chasing after her, hitting on her. But you were just coming in every day for your coffee, no big deal. And obviously, she was attracted to the challenge. She made a point of showing you that she liked you and all that. You weren't doing anything out of the ordinary. And you're going to see, guys, this is going to come back to bite him in the ass when he starts doing the opposite of that. He says, the coworker coerced me into coming out to meet him, another guy and her at a lounge. I went despite me thinking it was too soon and she didn't show, no big deal. That's interesting, she didn't show up. I wonder if she even knew about it. And don't, guys, he said he was coerced into doing it. Don't do anything you don't want to do. I can't make that any more clear. I messaged her the next day and we made plans to meet that weekend for a drink. Aha, one drink. Good for you, brother. Not a 5-course meal at the most expensive restaurant in the city. Just a drink. You've been listening. He says there was intense chemistry from the beginning. She kept getting up to use the bathroom, and I can only assume it was to clean herself up because she must have went to the bathroom 3 times within 15 minutes. Well, that's weird. Unless she had burritos and tacos or whatever for lunch, she was probably going in there to text her friends about you. That's usually what they do. He says, we finished off the date with a heavy makeout session. I had her drive me up to my car and made out again, filling each other up in broad daylight. You stud. Nice job. He says, my suspicions were also confirmed from the date. She had a kid. Run. It didn't bother me too much, and he says in parentheses, still blue-pilled. Well, you'll learn. He goes on, he says, we made plans for another date, this time at night. However, Now listen to this. However, my blue-pilled ways came through, and I began showing feelings through text, trying to prove myself, becoming insecure, the whole shebang. He was doing everything right in the beginning. He was cool, kind of just nonchalant. He'd go to Starbucks to get his coffee. He didn't go out of his way to talk to her or anything like that. She'd always make up his coffee, come from behind the counter, talk to him. He was just like, kind of like whatever. Now, and he goes on a date with her, they're making out and all that. So far, so good. But now he's trying to prove himself to her. Guys, you don't have to prove shit. Nice guys that aren't worth anything, try to prove themselves to women. It always backfires. And you're going to see. And of course, as he says here, the trying to show feelings through the text and being insecure. Now watch what she does. Complete 180. Watch how she tests him. He says she canceled the date and opted instead to meet in the middle of the day. No surprise there. On her first date out, she was on time. The second time, 45 minutes late. So before, she was unsure about you, whether you liked her or not. So she obviously made the effort. Now, through the first date, and by you texting her and showing your feelings for her and trying to prove yourself, you told her everything she needs to know. That you really like her, no more challenge. So she's just like, cancel the date at the last minute, schedule a date during the day, a lunch date, which ain't really a date, and shows up 45 minutes late. No doubt testing you. Testing to see if you would call her on being late, call her on the cancellation. I'm willing to bet you didn't. You should have walked the hell out of there after about 15 minutes, max. He says, I should have walked away then, but I stayed. See, he knows. Of course, she apologized profusely when she showed up. We began walking as this date was at a museum, but I could not bring myself to make a move again. That's because you're doing an afternoon date, walking around looking at art in a museum on your second date. That's the type of crap you do if she's actually your girlfriend. I mean, I love art too, don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't go on a date, on a second date to a museum. What are you going to do, make out when the security guard isn't looking at you in front of the Van Gogh? He says here, maybe it was my gut telling me that this was all over. Trust your gut. She's not behaving in a way that she likes you anymore. After the walking through the entire place, we walked into my car, kissed, and we both left separately. Over the next few months, I tried to meet her again, but she was always busy. Gee, I never saw that coming. When a woman is always busy, when once before they weren't always busy, it means they don't like you. That whatever you did, whatever you said, whatever it was, you've turned them off, and they're no longer interested. Because if they like you, they will make time. Mark my words. Despite Kate never wanting to meet, she'd reach out if we went more than a few days without talking. So I began catching on to the fact that she just wanted me around for attention. Exactly. You know, pretty girls they have a never-ending supply of what was called male orbiters. Guys that'll just be there at their beck and call to talk to them through text, to go talk to them on the phone about their feelings or worries or concerns or other dudes. We'll meet up with them like that for a drink and usually pay for it. Come hang out with them when they're bored. But there's no hooking up. Right what we got here. It's amazing how just in the beginning you played it cool and just boom, through that texting, showing how much you liked her, trying to prove yourself, killed it all. Now, she's obviously a pain in the ass, don't get me wrong, and also I might add, you spent months trying to go out with her on a date. After that whole fiasco, I would have been done immediately. But you're young, you're learning, and I made these mistakes too. It goes on. He says, I started catching on that she just wanted attention. And he says, as they say, girls make time for the guys they want and none for the ones that they don't. Exactly. I eventually told her this is going nowhere and not to contact me again. Her only response was, I'm sorry. No, she's not. Well, good for you for finally walking away. After that, I began reading up on game. Texting game, pickup strategies, and more. This eventually led me to many channels on YouTube, such as content creators such as yourself. At first, there was a lot of rage, but I quickly got over it. I kept expecting Kate to reach out to me, tug on the leash to make sure I'm still there, but she never did. She moved on, and I guarantee the whole time there was some other dude or dudes, plural, in the picture. But eventually, they always come back. Eventually, I fully moved on. 6 months later, guess who was back, though? I wonder who. She began texting and FaceTiming me. I entertained it. Why? Why waste your time? We had some light flirting, but nothing ever came of it, and I had zero expectations. I enjoyed the flirting and nothing more. Okay, you can enjoy the fact that you walked away and she came back and was obviously trying to get your attention again. You can enjoy that, but don't waste your time with this broad. Seriously, it's not worth it. But again, you're learning. We eventually stopped talking again, and 6 months later, he says there's a pattern here, she came back. This time she was pretty adamant about meeting up. Probably because the guy that she really wanted, it fizzled with him. Now she's on to you. A lot of women have to have a guy in the picture, always, for their own self-esteem. And to buy them stuff. He says, we kept up the flirting, and if we weren't flirting lightly or planning to meet, I didn't text her. Since I was barely texting her, she was always reaching out to check on me, ask about my day, random FaceTimes, sending heart emojis, etc. Well, there you go. He backed away. He wasn't reaching out to her. He was doing zero chasing, and now she's chasing him all the time. Now, in my opinion, this woman, her behavior sounds like a total attention, WHORE. These are the types that will constantly try to get your attention and all that and want to get your attention, but actually when guys actually try to make a date with them or anything like that, then they just are like, they're too busy or something like that. Total attention, WHORE. But good for you for not chasing. You're learning stuff. At the end of the day, this is a learning experience, and you're helping others by me sharing your story. He says, I got the feeling whoever was her primary guy bailed on her, and now she was using me to fill the void. Little did she know I was not going to play into any of her games either. Well, good for you. And I agree, you were the one and probably 5 other dudes filling the void. It says, I mentally confirmed this when Kate called me at night one day, contemplating if she should go meet up a friend at a cabin. It was as though she wanted me to talk her out of it. I knew deep down what she really was going to do, and she did too. But I didn't care because she was never getting any kind of relationship from me. So I was not about to save her. Good. This woman is not relationship material at all. Quite frankly, she's not even dating material because she's just too much of a roller coaster. Pain in the ass. This is nothing but a learning experience. After we talked, she hung up, texted me as she can't wait to see me and misses me. Yeah, until you plan to hang out and then she blows you off at the last minute. He says, to Kate, the conversation was just talking to me about whether she should go just meet a friend because of how late it was. To me, it was listening to a woman trying to reason with herself about meeting a guy at night to get piped down who probably doesn't want anything else to do with her outside of that and wanting me to rescue her. And also, you're being the guy that would listen to her because girls need that guy. Eventually, now listen to this. Eventually, we made plans to meet, and when she had to cancel, she began apologizing and begging me not to quit talking to her like I did the last time. She quickly gave me another day. I knew she was going to cancel on you. I knew that the second you planned to meet up, actually, she'd find a reason to blow you off at the last minute. That's how this operates, because she can see that no matter what, she'll disappear for 6 months and come back, and you'll give her attention. That's how they operate. But this guy will get some payback in the end. He finishes up saying, the day came around that Kate came over. We ate and went 2 rounds in bed. So after all of this, you finally hooked up. Afterwards, she left. We texted for a few more days with her sending me some pictures of her kid and her on a trip, but I eventually just quit responding. Good. Wasting your time. Look at all the crap you went through to eventually hook up with this girl. I mean, like I told you, she's a total attention, WHORE, and all this back and forth. And I guarantee you she was probably desperate for someone to be close with that night because the dude or dudes that she really wanted weren't interested in her or not available. He says, no regrets. I believe I was already RP aware, but my programming was still blue pill at the beginning of this. Oh, it most certainly was. So I had no idea how to respond in any other way. My whole 2020 was a journey of learning and conquering female nature. Dude, if you learn from your bad experiences, then it's a win. Okay? I mean, you gotta learn somehow, and now you sharing this story with me, and I put on YouTube for all the people to watch me, someone's gonna learn something from your story. So this whole thing worked out in the end. You're young. Look at the knowledge you're gaining. There are guys in their 50s that still don't get this shit. He says, I can say without a shadow of a doubt, I will never get married. Smart. If I decide to have kids, I'll co-parent with a person willing to do so using a notarized contract. So my kids have both a mom and a dad without the drama of a breakup or divorce. Thank you for everything you do. You make my commutes bearable. Cheers. Well, you're welcome, bro. I appreciate your support and I appreciate you sharing your story. This is really good. But again, guys, like I said in the beginning, look at all the crap that she was putting him through. And I'm sure there are guys watching this right now. You know who you are. That you've been through the same shit. The girl back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Disappears, then she's back. Disappears, and she's back. And you have plans, canceled at the last minute. And it boils down to that simply she's either a attention, W-H-O-R-E, and she's going to be this way anyway, or just she liked you initially, but then there were things you said and did that turned her off. You stopped being a challenge. You stopped being a prize. And she was bored, and she chased after the guys that didn't do that. And then where the guy really went wrong here, in the basis that he was interested in her, was, and he knows it, was over the text he was showing. Obviously, he was trying to prove himself to her, and talking about his feelings, and all that shit, which a lot of guys do. I've been there. I've made those mistakes. I'm not going to say I didn't, because I learned the hard way by doing a lot of the crap I tell you guys not to do. So by me going through that shit, I can then share these stories, look at emails and stories like this, break it all down, see exactly where the dude went wrong to help him out and other guys watching. But perfect example. But in the end, he hooked up and kicked her ass to the curb. I think that was warranted. So, but anyhow, man, good story. I wish you all the best. And then again, thank you for your service in the military. And again, 26 years old, 50 grand in the bank, you got your own rental property. You are doing well. Keep it up, bro. Keep saving that money, keep growing it, investing it. Keep it up. So, all right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me just think about this. Let me know, guys, if you've ever been through experiences like this, dealing with women like this, where you give them the attention, they disappear, back and forth, back and forth. Let's hear about it. Tell me what happened. Tell me how it ended. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.